try. No hell below us, above us only sky.
It's 2 o'clock. It's Thursday. It's time for Volunteers for Israel. Today is episode number 218. I like that 18 part. That's magic. All right. What a great looking group here. Happy spring to everybody. Actually, today is Pi Day, 314. For those of you who are not mathematicians, pi is 3.141596 or something like that. And it just the difference for the circumference versus the radius of a circle. And it's an old standard. It's also on Sunday, April 8th is also a special day in the United States, anyhow, in the East. We're having a little solar eclipse. And that eclipse goes from Maine right across the United States towards Louisiana. And hopefully we'll see some percentage of the sun disappear in the middle of the day. I have seen personally an eclipse that lasted for 3 minutes in the Virgin Islands years ago, and it's very impressive. So if you get a chance to get out there on April 8th, which is Monday, go for it. I want to give special thanks to our research committee of about 16 or 18 folks, including Julia, the work that they've been doing diligently to get our new programs up. And I'm going to take a few minutes to describe some of the programs, one of which was released last night. And it is a program having to do with farming. And if you are interested in knowing more about it, if you type in, and perhaps Lana, if you put it out on the chat, tinyurl.com/VFI farm, then this is program, and I'm going to bring it up in front of us as a share screen for a second here and talk about it. And I just have to find it. Here it is. So this is what you'll find on the internet. It's a landing page. It's a program which is very short fuse. That is, it starts in about 3 weeks. It's really meant for folks who are either in Israel now or on their way to Israel. And it involves either 5 days or I think it's 9 days. And there's 2 programs. One's a basic program, and the other one is a volunteering farm program. The basic program, you basically do the normal things. You're on your own, and this describes the basic program. The cost is incredibly inexpensive. It's roughly $50 a night to stay at a kibbutz, including food and work, for as many days. In this case, it's 4 days. We've taken that basic program and enhanced it with Julia. There she is. And we added all kinds of other things that make life very simple and basically handle all the transportation, all the food, all the touring, which is over and above. And it has a price tag of around between $1,200 and $1,400, depending on the number of participants. Now, we just rolled this out last night. It's got a short fuse, and so we have to see how many folks actually applied, but we've had significant interest, so it might work out just fine. So we've announced that program. It's up, available. In a day or two, we're going to be announcing the archaeology program, which is a 17-day program that will run in May rather, and it's very close to the VFI Plus programs we've run in the past, very popular. We have a number of people interested in joining in, but expect that announcement in the next couple of days. We will be following that with an announcement of a program that involves a rehab hospital in Tel Aviv that we're going to partner with and going to make available the opportunity to actually work in the hospital setting in many departments of the hospital speaking English. Go ahead, Julia. You're on mute, Julia.
I guess, no, it's Moran. Now I can see her. Moran.
Okay.
Can you all see Moran?
Yes, yeah. Yes. Can you give us a sound check?
Yeah. Hi, how are you all?
Perfect. Okay, Julia, why don't you go ahead and introduce?
Okay. So with a little delay, sorry about that. I would like to introduce and very much thank Moran Dr. Moran Betzer Tayar. She's 54 years old. She is the CEO of Misholei Chinuch Company and the Ramat Hadassah Szold Youth Village. She lives in Katzir, which is very close to where I live, with her partner Itzik and their 3 children. On October 7, 23 at 6:29 a.m., their lives changed, and since then it was not returned to its course. For 5 months now, she has been working full-time plus as the aunt of Rimon, Kirsht, and Yagev Buchshtab, who were kidnapped on that fateful day from their home in Kibbutz Nirim. Rimon, fortunately, returned to us all after 53 days, while Yagev is still in captivity. Moran, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it and how much I hope your beloved one will be back as soon as possible. So the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. I don't know what happened to my device, so I changed 2 of them, and I hope now it will be okay. So as Julia said, my name is Moran, and usually I'm working in education, the educational field, but as you mentioned, since October 7th, my life, our life, the family, the country, I think the whole world life, I don't know if stopped, but at least changed. I will try to share with you a little bit of the story of Yagev and Rimon and what happened on that horrible day, and at least from what we know, and what we are trying to do, and how we are surviving and living, you know, day by day. It's been now over 5 months. I just, you know, today I said it earlier, I said it first time that it's almost 5.5 months, and I was amazed and shocked, and it was the first time I understood it. It already, you know, that the 5 months actually passed already, and they are still there. And the parents are still here. And actually, before I'm starting, I have to say that it's not only them who were kidnapped that day, it is actually all the family. I don't know if some of you have already been in Israel and met the families, or if you saw them and met them in the States, but it's people who are, you know, I don't know how they hold up, you know, and during all this time, but they are very strong people with inner strength and a lot of faith that their beloved one are still alive, at least most of them, and that there will be, you know, each day we are going to sleep and we hope for good news, you know, when we will wake up, and this is how we live. So as Julia said in the beginning, it was 6:29 in the morning on a Saturday morning, Simchat Torah, very nice holiday, very quiet morning. Also in their kibbutz, in Kibbutz Nirim, it was the holiday, the birthday of the kibbutz. So they celebrated twice, you know, the Simchat Torah the evening before, and also the celebration of the establishment of their kibbutz. Their kibbutz is about 2 kilometers from the border, from the border that, you know, that they collapsed with Gaza, and it's the closest kibbutz to Khan Yunis, the town in Gaza. But before I will tell you about that morning, I will tell you a little bit about Yagev and Rimon and how they met. Both of them were born in that area, in the southern area of Israel. Rimon was born in Kibbutz Magen and Yagev in Kibbutz Nirim. And they shared together during their high school, you know, the same regional school. Rimon is a bit older than Yagev. However, they met each other because both of them didn't like to study so much. And on the other hand, both of them did like music very much, and they shared the love for the same kind of music. So instead of studying, they spent a lot of time in they had a band, a punk band, with some other people, and they shared the time, playing, writing songs, and do this kind of things. And they became very, very good friends, but there was no love back then. They didn't understand that maybe. It took them about 17 years after that they met again, because Rimon broke her leg, and she called her best friend from the nearest kibbutz, Yagev, to come and help her. And Yagev, of course, is a very nice and gentleman, young man. He came to her house to help her. And it was 3 years ago. They celebrated, not celebrated, but their third anniversary was 2 days ago. So after, they met 3 years ago, after 17 years. And since he went into her house, he never left. Literally never left. The only way that they left, it was because they moved from Kibbutz Magen back to Kibbutz Nirim. But since then, for the last 3 years, they are all the time together. They take care of their animals. They have a life project to save cats and dogs that are wounded and abandoned, and to take care of them and bring trust of on the humankind and the world. And they have in their house 5 dogs and 5 cats. And they share the love for cooking and baking, and of course for the music. I remember a week before, it was the first holiday of Sukkot. So all the family, we came, all the family to gather and celebrate together in Yagev's parents' house in Kibbutz Nirim. And they came together, they sat together, they hugged together, and then they left together. And this is, you will understand why I'm telling you that in a minute. So they got married in a COVID-19 wedding, small wedding in the garden of his parents. And they lived, they should have lived, happily ever after. And then that Saturday morning arrived, 6:29. The red signal alarm announced in all the southern area of Israel, in Nirim and another 22 or something kibbutzes and moshavs and cities in that area. And I don't know if you are aware to that, but the red signal alarm, unlike the siren in the center of Israel, it's about 15 seconds to get into your safe room. But imagine 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. It's not really 15 seconds. It's maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds. And that day, they didn't manage to get into their safe room, so they went under their bed and they called the dogs and the cat, and they would try to hide there from the terrorists. Then they didn't know about the terrorists in the beginning. So then we have it's 20 years now that the rocket from Gaza to this place is like not monthly but yearly event. So they are used to that. Unfortunately, they are used to that. So we have a routine, and each time that this kind of attack happen, we open our family WhatsApp group, and we ask them, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And all of them, of course, answered in the first 10 seconds that they are okay. Also, the grandmother of Yagev that she's living also in Kibbutz Nirim, and the parents and Yagev and Rimon, and all of them wrote to us, "Yes, we are okay, we are okay, we are okay." So I'm living in the center of Israel. I thought everything is okay and it will be like always. However, after 10 or 15 minutes, They wrote us, family, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. We hear the terrorists outside of our doors. We hear them shooting. We hear them laughing. We hear them shouting. The grandmother said that she heard them from the inside her house. She heard the shooting gun on her walls of the house, but luckily from the outside. And some of the bullets actually penetrated into the house, but again, luckily it didn't hurt her, and it was stuck in her closet or something. Later on, we found out that they shot 25 bullets on her house. Imagine a 87 years old lady living alone in her house, and the situation, on that situation. The parents in another neighborhood in the kibbutz wrote us that because they didn't want to call, because they were afraid that that they will hear them, so they wrote us that they are in their porch. They are trying to steal their neighbor electric vehicle that was parking there. They knock and actually knock on the doors. But again, luckily, I don't know why they didn't enter to their house and they were safe. At that time, in Yagev and Rimon's neighborhood, the mother in the kibbutz WhatsApp, she saw that the terrorists succeed to murder a father and a daughter that living two houses from Yagev and Rimon, and also she saw on the WhatsApp that they are trying to burn houses in their neighborhood. But then the electricity in Yagev and Rimon's neighborhoods collapsed, turned off. Probably, I don't know, because of the terrorists they shot or burned something. So the parents thought or wanted at least to believe that they are not answering them because they have no battery, because there is no electricity. So they were in their safe room, the parents, believing that their son and his wife are okay, and they are not answering because the battery ran off. At 8:30 in the morning, Rimon sent the last life sign, and she's sending her mom a voice memo saying there, I love you, they are here, meaning the terrorists, they are shooting at us, they are here, I'm sorry, and I love you. And that was the last time we heard from them, and we assuming that about 8:30, 8:40, they were actually kidnapped. But then, as I said, the parents thought that it's because of the battery. Just about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the IDF succeed or managed to take over again of the kibbutz. So imagine the people, the parents and the other people there, sitting in their safe room with terrorists around, know nothing about their son and daughter and his wife, and they can't do anything. And in 5 o'clock, the IDF gathered all the people from the kibbutz in a central place, and that was the first time the parents realized that their son and his wife are missing. They convinced the army to go to the apartment with them to see what happened. And when they arrived to Yagev and Rimon's apartment, they saw the broken windows. They saw the shooting signs on the floor. They saw some blood on the wall. They saw the bed not in its place and a lot of struggle, signs of struggle, in the apartment. And of course, Rimon and Yagev weren't there, and the cats and the dog weren't there as well. And it took about a week later that we first heard from our army, when an officer from the IDF arrived to the house of the brother of Yagev's mother in another kibbutz, because of course they evacuated from their kibbutz. They can't go back even now. The kibbutz, as I said, is very close to Gaza. And to this house, the officer arrived and told them that they have no proof and no evidence, but according to some, checking that they did, the army, they are assuming that that they were kidnapped, but they are alive. The reason they believed that they are alive was because the shooting signs were on the floor in the apartment and not on the wall, which probably told them that, they tried to scare them, but not to kill them. About a month later, the Hamas released the second video. If you remember, I don't know, but if you remember, it was the video with the three ladies that just one in the middle talked and another two sat on the left and the right side. And then it was the first time we saw Rimon. Rimon was there on the left side, very thin, without glasses, and she has the very bad eye. She can't really see without the glasses. And for us, we didn't ask too many questions. The only thing there was, that we understood that she's alive, and probably Yagev is alive as well. However, time passed by, and just after 53 days, actually 49 days, the first deal happened, and after another 4 days, in the 53 days, we suddenly saw Rimon. And you maybe remember Rimon because Rimon was the young lady with the pink or purple pajama that when she went out from the Hamas car and moved to the Red Cross car, she was very assertive in front of the Hamas, and she went to the car and hugged the other lady, and they walked very proudly. And I don't know if you remember this video when she was she released.
Yes, I do remember it.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So just to let you know about who I'm talking. Okay. And then she arrived by helicopter, to Ichilov. It's the hospital in Tel Aviv. And the first thing to do was to hug her mom. The second was to hug the dog. Luckily, all 5 dogs and 5 cats were saved. So one of them joined her in the hospital. And the third one was to put the poster of Yagev, kiss him, and to tell us, my heart stayed in Gaza. You have to bring him back. I can't survive without him. I can't be better without him. I can't recover without him. You have to bring him back. Then, if you remember, we all thought that it will take a few more days, a few more weeks, and all of them will come back. So we said, yes, of course, we will continue fight. Don't worry, we will bring him back. If some of you have this dog tag that we all wear in the hostages square, is in Gaza. She didn't know when she came back that we have this hostages forum, the family forum, that we have the hostages square, that all the world, the Jewish world, and not just the Jewish world, fighting to bring them back. She didn't know nothing. However, she said exactly what is written here. And since then, I'm wearing it all the time because it's not just, merchandise or accessory. It's really what they feel. And that's why I'm wearing it most of the time or all the time. After 2 weeks, she left the hospital. She was a bit better in terms of the physical condition. And she started telling us some things from, what happened there. The first thing she told us was about October 7th, what happened. And she told us that when they went to hide under the bed, they were hugging so strong that when the Hamas came, the terrorists arrived entered to their house and shot. They tried to scare them, but they didn't left one each other. So they moved the bed, but again they didn't left one each other. And they tried with force to separate them, but they couldn't. So they took them, both of them together, to the pickup truck that waited outside their apartment, and put them on the truck. And I think they were lucky, and the great and amazing love they have, the relationship that I told you before, saved at least Rimon on that, because later on she told us that they spent the whole 53 days together all the time, all day, and that's why she said she managed to survive, because during the time they spent there in the tunnel in Khan Yunis, of course, probably you saw some of the tunnels that the IDF exposed, and you understand that you understood that that it was most of the time darkness there, humidity, mold, not enough air, of course, not enough food, no showers, no toilet, and other things that people for the basic needs that we need, and they survived, at least as she said that, according to what she said, because they found there an old fork, and they took it like they found gold, and they put it all the day under something that they called mattress, and they tried to sleep in shifts. Like when she slept, he was awake and held the fork, and when he slept, she tried to keep an eye on him with the fork. Of course, we know that it can't save them. It couldn't save them anyway if the terrorists wanted to do something, because they had the gun. But at that time, for them, it was something that gave them a little bit the feeling of power, a little bit. That's what she said. The other thing they did there, it was to invent songs, to sing one to each other very quietly. They weren't allowed to shout or to talk loud. And also, Yagev is an autodidact, and he studied since he was 19 or 18. He read Nietzsche, Frankel, and other philosophers, and they, at least she told us that, they talked about the meaning of life, about a man looking for meaning in any situation, even in this horrible situation. And also they invented the imaginary games, and that's how they survived for 53 days. She also told us that on that morning when they were on this truck, waited to not waited, but until they took them to Khan Yunis, suddenly they saw one of the Palestinians, probably not a terrorist, not from the Hamas, coming out from their house with the guitar that Yagev built with his brother, because Yagev is a musician, and is not only playing on guitar, but also building musical instruments. So they saw this Palestinian going out, stealing his guitar, and then stealing his bicycle. And then Rimon told Yagev, don't worry, when we will come back, we will buy new guitar, or you will build new guitar. We will be okay. And Yagev told her, Rimon, if there will be one child tonight that will smile from the music of my guitar, even in Gaza, I will be happy. And Yagev knew exactly where they are going to. He lived there all his life, so he knew the directions, he knew who is these people. But this is what he chose to say, and this is what he chose to believe. And Yagev is a person that always trying to see those who are transparent to society, those who are not in the mainstream or the main road, but on the side, and those who are excluded from the society. He used to help sick or ill Palestinian. He was part of the project that people waited for them in the border and to take them to hospitals in Israel to wait until they will get their medical care and bring them back home. He's always, there for those who need help. He's a gentleman. Yeah, he's also a gentleman, but he has a gentle soul. He's an artist. And I don't know, and we don't know how he can survive 160 days in this horrible situation. A few days ago, not days, some weeks ago, the Israeli IDF exposed a very big tunnel in Khan Yunis. And when Rimon watched the news on that day, she recognized that was the tunnel that they were held in. And she also recognized the cell, because she told us then that most of the time they were isolated from the others, and they were held in a very small cell. But what made me, when she sent us the photo of this cell, that she took from the TV, what was so horrifying for me and like shocking, it was when you see this cell that they were held in, you see that it's, like open all that, there is no walls, and the prisoners, the terrorists that kept on them, could stare and look, all the time, everything you are doing, and even if they didn't touch or didn't do physical abuse, by looking at you when you are doing your basic daily routine activities, it's an abuse, and they didn't have any single moment of privacy, any single sign of basic human rights, no freedom, and it was, for me until now, it's I can't even imagine. Even when I saw it, I just moved the it was too difficult for me, at least. So it's been now 160 days, and Yagev's and Rimon is a bit better. She's now living in a moshav, in a temporary house with the dogs and the cats, in a small moshav, very quiet, and I hope it will stay like that until he will come back. Yesterday, 2 days ago, as I said, they had their third anniversary, and she wrote to Yagev on her Facebook that thank you for being with me. Thank you for keeping, being there for me, even now when you are far. I love you. I will always love you. I'm waiting. And many other things, very touching. And she told not okay. The parents are not okay. And since I think since 160 days now, we are traveling all over the world. We are talking with people all over the world, and in Israel, of course. We are on the media, locally and internationally. We are trying to do many activities to raise awareness. We have involved the large firms and the companies in Israel in order to help us to raise the awareness. We are doing anything we can, all the families, not just us, in order to raise the awareness. You will, for a minute even, forget them and the situation. And we are trying to raise the voice of the hostages and the families by saying that doesn't matter if somebody think Israel is okay or not. The hostages situation is about being a human being. It's about humanitarian, it's about humanity, it's about morality. And it's not in any way a political issue. And, I'm sure you know, but on October 6th, we were in our beds. On October 7th at night, not at night, but early in the morning, we were in our beds. So we weren't be in Gaza now, the army, if October 7th, the horrible thing that happened there wouldn't have happened. So, and I think the world tend to forget it, that we are there because something so bad happened, and mainly because there are still 134 hostages that's still held in Gaza with no basic rights. We don't know exactly who is alive, who is not, who is ill, who is not, who is wounded, who is not. We don't know. And this is a very, very complicated and difficult situation. And I don't know in the States, but in Israel, there is like a kind of conflict. What is more important? To bring the hostages back or to destroy the Hamas? And I think this is a very political question, because both of them are equally important. To bring back the hostages is our our basic values as Israeli, as Jewish, as citizen of the world. We won't be the same if we will give up on their life, because human life for us, it's superior value, and never leave anybody behind. It's a superior value for us. And this is not, so this is that important. Of course, it's equally important to bring security back, to Israel and to the south, of course. For me, that's why the right question is not what is more important, but what is more urgent. And if we believe that human life is, superior value, then we must first bring them back, and then do what we need in order to bring also the physical security to Israel and to the area. And I believe we are strong enough to do that. But I'm not sure we will be strong enough if they won't be here in terms of our, hearts and soul and values. Thank you very much for your time and for listening and for the platform that you're giving me. And I'm open to any questions. It can be difficult question, easy questions, remarks, whatever you like. The floor is yours now.
Moran, thank you very, very much. Again, needless to say, we all pray and hope, and I believe this is it should be our first priority to bring them back. So if there are any, I don't think we have any questions on that. I guess people were just overwhelmed. So if there's any questions, you're welcome to unmute yourself and talk.
I have a question. Are you going to be speaking in the United States soon?
Me, myself, or generally the families?
Generally, I guess, or yourself.
First, we have many delegations that arriving to the States, to different different cities or states, but we also want to start now a new project with, I don't know if you know this organization, it's an American organization called the Miriam Institute, that we want to find communities in the states that will adapt, but not, it's not adapt, but, you know, to hug a family of hostages. And in that way, it's not about the money, it's about raising awareness. And some of your in the communities in the state have influence, you know, each person by itself, but as a community as well. And we want, you know, to raise the awareness in the communication and to continue sending the letters to your congressmen, because so yes, we are coming, not specifically me at that moment, but yes, families are coming to the families member are coming to the states a lot of times, and we will continue. Just a few days ago, the Ruby Chen, I don't know if you saw him, he met Biden, President Biden, and just yesterday or the day before, they announced that his son, Itai, was murdered on October 7th, and they kidnapped his body, but he said he will continue fighting, and he's an American citizen, and he's coming a lot to the state. So we are trying to raise awareness and to you know, by your support, to influence your president and the people in decision-making position, in order for them, you know, to press on Qatar and Egypt and on Israel. And at the same time, we are trying here to do whatever we can to make pressure, to put pressure on our parliament, cabinet and government. So you are very important.
Did you, I just want to double check. Did you say Miriam's Kitchen?
No, Miriam Institute. It's a foundation that's active in the States. And they you know, helping us voluntarily in order to raise this project.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Question? First, thank you very much for your first-person recollection of all those nasty details. That's meaningful to everybody.
There is a question. Harry is asking, why do you think no one is pressuring UNRWA and the International Red Cross for information on the hostages?
In the beginning, in the first 2 months, I think we tried to put a lot of pressure on the UN institutions, but you know, they never managed to get into Gaza, or maybe they did enter to Gaza, but not in order to see the hostages. They said the Red Cross is now more in contact with us, with the families, but they're saying that the Hamas not letting them in, and it's a big problem for them to get into the tunnels and all this situation. So they say they can't do anything. And UNRWA, you know the situation. Some of them saw the hostages. Some of them even helped the Hamas on that day. UNRWA is not working with Israel as we understood. But with the UN, we are meeting a lot. The family, even now, I think 1 or 2 days ago, there was in front of in the UN in Geneva. There was some of the released hostages that were talking there. So we are trying to do whatever is possible, but we have a problem, with the international organization that's supposed to be neutralized.
Yeah, okay, I see.
But I just wanna, there is a question, I didn't.
No, just Sherry is asking if you can see at the chat if is this it is a site miriaminstitute.org. I guess this is the one you were talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can send you later the details if you wish.
No, if you can just look at the chat and see if this is the
I'm afraid to move something here in my device. It's not my device, and I'm afraid I will do it and I will disappear again. So
Okay.
I will just, if you can, take a screenshot on that and send me, and I will tell you later, and you can answer on my behalf.
I'm doing
I will just, okay, thank you. I will just say that I wish to thank you because I think each one of us is very, very important. Sometimes we can sit at home and think to ourselves, what can I do? I'm an ordinary, person, and this is a huge event. But I truly believe that each one of us is very, very important because, at least the one that in my age and above, maybe remember that when we were children, there was a little game, that there was a paper with many, many, many dots. And near the dots, there was the number 1, 2, 3, but it was a big mess. And when you found the way to connect the 1 to the 2 in the end, suddenly the big mess became a dog. And why I'm saying that? Because if we all think ourselves as an important point or dot in this big picture, then we need to be to do whatever we can and to wake up in the morning and ask ourselves, what can we do, or what I did today for the hostages? And when all of us will do that and all of us will be connected in this effort, it will be the day that there will be a dog on our paper, or at least the hostages back home. And that's why I think all of us are important, and we can do things like putting the posters. I know that people taking them off, but it's very important. If you have a company or in your email address, the counter, the digital counter that it's possible to put in your signature, to write letters to the congressman, to support our fight by, for example, there is now a big fight in Hague because the family forum, the families forum of the hostages, play a charge of try to convict the Hamas for the horrible things they did to women and to children on that day, in terms of the sexual abuse and all that, and the rape. And we need a lot of money for that because it's not governmental. We are doing it as a foundation. So you can find ways to talk with friends, to talk with your family. There is, soon there is Purim and there is Passover. So maybe on your table to put to leave one chair, yellow chair or not yellow, empty, and not to forget them. Each one of us can do something, and when we all all the people in the world will do that, some small thing, I think it will be the moment they will come back, because the head of the leaders of all this country, the developed countries, the democratical countries, will put enough pressure on Hamas, and they can do it because they need money, and the money is in Qatar and some democratical countries as well. That's it. So I hope you will join us in this fight.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you want us to, when we write to our government, which doesn't always listen, unfortunately, but do you want us to let Israel go into Rafah or no? What would you prefer?
I think the main thing, at least I should, or we should, I can't tell you what to do, is not dealing with the how. We need to deal with the what, and the what is to bring them back home. The how, the leaders should decide, because they choose by themselves to be in that position, and we chose them to be there, vote for them. But they need to decide how. We need to force them to bring them back. They need to find how. And I think this fight about go to Rafah or not, I don't have enough information.
Thank you. I just am saying that I'm angry that our United States government is butting into a sovereign nation's business.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things have happened and a lot of soldiers have died because we butted in. But I am sorry for your position, and I support you totally.
Thank you.
What is the name of your foundation? What is the name of the foundation that you were talking? Not the Miriam. That's a different one, but the one that the families have to fight in the Hague.
For the family, the hostages families forum, I think it's called. I will send the link if you want to Julia, and she can send it to you.
Yeah, if you can actually send it right now, and then I will put it on chat.
Don't.
If you can, if not, so just.
It's Julia. זה הפורום, זה המטה משפחות, אבל באנגלית זה נקרא the family forum of the hostages and the missing.
Okay, the family forum of the hostages and the missing. Okay. I just want to Google it.
You can find it on Facebook, Instagram, and probably, and of course on Google. Okay.
Okay. Frank just wrote, thank you for sharing. This is such a nightmare. When is the world going to wake up? We think about you all the time with all the love. And Gail added, leaving a chair with the yellow ribbon and maybe a poster is a great idea. We can ask Hamas to cease fire and return the hostages, not ask Israel to not keep looking for the hostages. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Israel, yeah, thank you all for participating and listening and being compassionate. So unless there are any other questions, I would thank Moran again and wish you a good night and best of luck. Okay.
Thank you very much, and I don't know. Thank you, and let's do whatever we can.
Yeah, Harry just placed the link to the website the hostages, Warren family. Am Israel Chai, indeed. Thank you, מורן, תודה רבה לך. אני אדבר איתך עוד מעט בטלפון. תודה רבה.
Thank you very much for your time and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
שלום, תשובות טובות.
תודה.
Bye. Bye. Wow.
Bye bye.
ביי.
Okay.
So, I never saw so little questions. I mean, there was very little response. I guess it's not because people were not interested, but there's just nothing to say. There's nothing we didn't say before, huh?
Yeah, there's nothing to say, Julia. It was
Very powerful stuff.
Yeah, firsthand. God, it is a nightmare. I can't even imagine. I don't want to imagine, but to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Julia, for arranging this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
First class, first-hand person experience. That's very valuable to us. Put in the back of our heads.
Yeah.
Although we as Americans probably can't even imagine something like this happening between New York and New Jersey or something like that. It's inconceivable. It's real.
There was, I don't know if you've heard, but there was a stabbing attack today at Aroma Cafe, which is the one, like so many VFI volunteers going south, going back north, going with me to Mitzpe Ramon, etc. We were stopping there. That was the must-do stop in Aroma Cafe in Bet Kama, and there was a stabbing attack there today. So hard to imagine. I mean, did you hear about it, guys?
In an hour and a half, I might want to do one.
Yeah, you did. A 22 years old from a nearby Bedouin town just rode his scooter, and I don't know if the person died or not, but he was attacked.
Didn't die. The person shot him.
Oh,
No,
wow.
I know. He did shot him, I know, but the person was declared Patsua Anush, like deadly wounded.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, he is deadly wounded, and he might survive, God willing, but he was very badly injured.
Yeah.
And like
this is the second one since Ramadan started.
and the Ramadan is only 2 days old, so
Right, 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
yeah.
So this is the second. This is the second attack since Ramadan started.
Wow.
I assume that the police are on high alert for Ramadan issues. Are they allowing entry to the Temple Mount?
So far, yes.
They are?
Of Israeli Arabs, not of the Palestinians, only of the Arabs with Israeli citizenship. And there are already Palestinians killed and Israelis. I mean, yeah.
It's very high alert in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's true. But there was no high alert in Beit Kaman, even if there was. So there's nothing to do about it. I mean, everybody can enter an Aroma Cafe. That's
Right.
The whole country's on high alert.
Well, country's on high alert always, but
but especially now.
What's happening on the northern border? Any activity up there?
Yeah, there were 100 rockets 2 days ago.
Yes. Yeah, 17, I think. But yeah, like lots and lots of there's no progress with the evacuated communities. I mean, we still have over 100,000 people evacuated from their homes.